All right, hello everyone. We're getting a little echo? Okay, that's my problem. So, I'm Alvin Benjamin Carter III, and today I'm going to be talking about how communities build businesses, and particularly Harvard, in this case, helped me build 2 businesses, and it's kind of transferable out of this area. Though Harvard's resources are vast, there's a lot of resources everywhere. So I'm going to give you a quick bit of background. Oh, let me go back. So right here, my background. Who is this guy? Why am I here? Well, I was lucky enough to be allowed to speak to you today, and founder of Applicable and the Combat Sports Hall of Fame. I got my master's last year in museum studies from the Extension School, and I'm the website multimedia coordinator at Harvard Art Museums right now. So this is the shameless plug. We are opening this fall. We've been closed for 5 years. Come see it. It's going to be amazing, 32 Quincy Street. So now to the things I'm here to talk about. Quickly, this won't be the main focus, but the Combat Sports Hall of Fame is a nonprofit Hall of Fame that started based out of my research for my thesis. Was how to create a Hall of Fame. I do this crazy combat sports stuff for fun, and there wasn't a unifying one that was, spans all forms of martial arts and the popular mixed martial arts. So this is just getting started. We're forming the board, accepting donations, and then the Kickstarter is going to go live soon. But that's more where my research kind of started. What my research really brought me to, though, was creating something. And I call entrepreneurs creators because, or I think it's a bit interchangeable. Some people aren't money-minded, but they have ideas, they make things happen. And some people are money-minded and they need ideas, but altogether they end up creating. And I say, look to where you live, work, or study, or whatever it is you do. For me, I live in Harvard Square, I work at Harvard, and I studied at Harvard. It's safe to say Harvard's my community. That's just kind of where I am every day, all day. And some of the best ideas are floating around you because of how you interact in your community and the things that happen there in general. Applicable is that, and I'll show you why in a minute. And then also your hobbies. The Combat Sports Hall of Fame took a hobby, took my studies, museum studies, and I married 2 things people don't often think are together. I was also the associate director of programs at the Hip Hop Archive at Harvard. Hip hop is a hobby of mine, and then look, there was a whole place to study that. So there's more ways. If you look around you, you can find ways to really innovate and grow, because having a research center based on hip hop at Harvard, to me, it's a big innovation socially. But also, another thing to think about is don't count out, and this is one thing when you look in your community, young people, people that might have gone through some hardships and are looking to try a venture, and people who've tried and failed. Everyone who's failed, I mean, every time I read about any great entrepreneur or anyone, no one believed me, my family didn't believe me, no one this, and then finally we tried, and after the 8th iteration, my name is Richard Branson. So you never really know how things are going to work for people. So it's just something to keep in the back of your mind during this presentation. So the next thing I have here is concept. So when research looked like a business. So I mentioned that this is my community. And one big thing in the area here is moving, right? This is Boston, Cambridge. We have 500,000 students in and out every year. There's a big turnover, and people here move frequently. My fiance and I were moving. She made this awesome spreadsheet, because everything's on a spreadsheet. We know what's happening. It's awesome. And it tabulated some things. It's wait a minute, this looks like a mobile application. And it just came from something that a lot of people in our general area always have trouble, finding places. Where am I going to live? Okay, what has this? What is that? I don't remember. I've seen 10 places this weekend. So I had a lot of technical research for my thesis that I ended up porting over to this actual, more of a business venture, very different from the Hall of Fame. And then I have a friend who works here. He works at IT, actually, in this building, in the Science Center, Buddy Gerald. He's a developer. He knows how to build things, and we get together. Boom, we have a real concept, a real idea. All right, let's see what we can do. And what we did was we formed Applicable. So Applicable is the parent company, and it's a slightly different take on the popular tech model. Everyone has a tech company. There's a joke in hip hop, everybody's cousin is a rapper. Well, everyone's cousin has a tech company, right? That's just what happens, especially in Cambridge. But ours is about, it's not about being first necessarily. It's about finding logical and efficient ways to solve problems. So it kind of speaks exactly to what Dean Lambert was talking about. And it's about fulfilling needs for our users who are you and me. I'm thinking about things that aren't just like this is cool, but a need's really fulfilled, and there are other people in my community that have that need. It helps me with use cases. You know, I don't have to look far to get interviews and find out what's really a problem. And our first application, real quickly, it's called Spreadsheet Home Evaluator, and it gives a point value check system where you can rank different features. You can even write things in and add your own qualitative values so you can see side-by-side comparisons, because people visit a lot of places. Then you and maybe another user, say you and your roommates are all from a different area coming to school together, haven't really met yet. You could share it with each other, post videos and pictures of the places. One person might have got here first, and then after that, you have this great layout. You can pick your place, but the big thing is, and this is what the website won't tell you, there's a dual value proposition. You don't make money off of apps. It just doesn't, unless it's like Candy Crush and there's in-app purchases, or you know, you're not going to make any money. With this, all this data will either scrub current existing, like general free data about real estate places, or we'll give some new data, and we'll have algorithms to even clean that up. And people can basically, different companies, real estate companies, can buy subscription to big data, which is the buzz term right now, and that way they can have constant new information that can help affect pricing, renovations. If they look, say, in South Boston, everybody said, I wish this had marble countertops. Or, you know, if that places that tend to not have aluminum siding are getting, you know, 4,000 more, whatever, they can make their adjustments need be. So that's one interesting thing we're working on among some others. But the trick was to have the confidence to do this. Now, confidence is something that you kind of, some people say you're just real confident or you're not, but when you're in a community, you have resources. And Harvard isn't the only place that has these, but here there's some great ones. Workshops, classes, office hours even. Office hours here, you have people that have done things. Like if you can find a professor or a staff, like an administrative person here who might have done the things you want to do, go talk to them. Usually they're eager to talk to you because this is what they do and what they're interested in. And once the concept was nailed, I went to Harvard iLabs. I was technically a student. That was a great thing about being an extension school student, because I work here. So I'm like, oh, I don't think of me as a student, think of myself as a student, but I was. And I got a really strong knowledge base. I learned more about coding than I ever knew. I met other people doing the same thing. And that was really key, because I got to see how stuff works. How do people do startups? It's not just the movie The Social Network. Like, it's not going to happen to most of us. And then I remember I took innovation class. I went back to my notes. And then the biggest thing here was we went to illegal office hours at the Harvard iLabs and met the law firm that got us going. I had office hours with Wilmer Hale, a really big law firm. They had a quick start program. I never knew. I thought the expenses to starting up were going to be crazy. They vetted us, liked what we're doing, got us in the program, incorporated us at no cost. I mean, there's state filing fees. And now, basically, we have a full company ready to go. We're in product development phase. And it was all from being in my community with the extension school and just meeting other folks, going to things, talking to people. And everyone else should also realize that, like, your confidence grows once you realize you have these things. Like, and other people see you doing them, they get more confidence in you, seeing you going out there seeking more information. When you list, oh, I've done this or that, no, you might not have a certificate in this or degree in that, but you went to that workshop. That might mean something. People might give you a chance. So I'm going to push the pace a little here. Now, the last part really is about the capital, but it's not just funding, it's social and political capital. Think of who you are, where you are, your influence, people's influence around you. That can go a long way to getting things done. And it's not just in the big power moves way, but being friendly with folks who want to refer you to someone who's a developer or someone who has a fast track to finding fair trades, products, that could really help. And then note to everyone, you may play a bigger role in your community than you think. Don't underestimate your impact. Everyone in here can help someone do something. Everyone in here has a discernible skill. And if you all definitely went to the school, you know what your skill is because you probably got a piece of paper saying what it is. So when people come to talk to you, you should really think about that. Or when you talk to people, you have a strong value to add. And then entrepreneurs, when these people talk to you, accept help and criticism. Don't think you got it just because you're smarter, it's a good idea. Your community's here. If they're going to help you, work with it. Then to solve a problem, meet your need community, and they will help you. I saw my need was in this community for the first app. And people are so willing to tell me their stories about finding apartments and what they're looking for in data. It informed everything we're doing. Then also, don't be afraid to meet the venture community. This is why the confidence is important. Journey outside, make friends, go talk to the people with the money to help you. You still do need money, but you need to know what you're talking about. Take these workshops. I'm going to wrap this up. Use all the tools presented to you to find funds. Some people can get grants. Sometimes go to the VC meet and greets when you're not ready. And just look around. Go to, there's a lot of websites with information. Go to ones with the .gov, the real. And just look around also at your university-based situations. So Harvard, as you can see, was what got us going. But this is in all communities. You don't have to be at Harvard. It just helps to be at a place with resources. So I don't want to run over, so thank you. You can follow up with me. That's my email. Appclickable.com is the website to learn more about the specific things we're doing. And I'm ready for questions.
Thank you, Alvin. So again, raise your hand if you have a question and I'll come by. Since I don't have any hands, I'm going to use the moderator prerogative and ask a question myself.
Go right ahead.
So recently, I've been going through an apartment search,
Yes.
and I'm the crazy person who saw 30 apartments in 1 week.
We need to talk, yes.
I had a form that scared most of the rental companies. But can somebody using your app customize which features they're looking for?
Yes, it's fully customizable. That's actually the hardest part in development, making sure that it truly, the rubric adds up. But you can customize it. You can even add the weighted value. So if stainless steel refrigerator gives 5 points for you on the schema you have, when you check it, that'll do it. You can pick what you want. You can write in what you want. It will come with some set parameters based on your area anyway. So that's the goal, and that's one of the harder parts of development, not having just the one-size-fits-all, but the goal is you can pick what you want. It's more time, but if it's for you, you'll put in the time to set it up the way you want.
Right, thank you. Questions?
Hello, thank you. I was wondering, you said you went to the IT lab to learn all about coding. Did you go there to learn enough of the language so that you could identify someone who would be really good and just what you needed, or to do it yourself?
It was a mixture. I kind of dabble in coding anyway, so I can do rudimentary things, but to make things talk across like different databases, and I'm not that guy. I can get you up and running to show someone what to build on a scalable level. But I was also peeking around for people, and also peeking around to see if the person I had in mind, the person I mentioned, Gerald, was the right person. Just because he's someone I know and he does it, we wanted to see what the relative level was there. But I was meeting people who went to like a launch academy, didn't know anything, came out 6 months later, and they're building websites. So I find that like there's going to these workshops, you find people that are highly motivated, people that could always do it, and then there's people like me feeling it out. But I learned to actually do a lot of the things. I'm not going to be the final implementation person though. So no, if I was, I'd have to quit my job to do that. And you quit your job once you look like you got the Series A funding. That's when you quit your job. Yeah, see, my fiance agrees.
Alvin, I'm not that tech savvy, I'll preface with that, but is this application for the whole country, people in other cities and states?
Yes, it will be pretty much, there's no map involved, so the templates will be based on like big regional markets, so the things that you tend to find in certain places. Some places, you'll still find you'll find that stucco is something in the Midwest. So there'll be base templates, but it works anywhere. You can pick what you want, and it's really for you. You can use it anywhere in the world, theoretically.
And we have time for one more question.
For the app that you created, did you go in knowing how to get the funding or how to make money off of it? Or did you just sort of come up with this idea and then the funding ideas came later? How did you?
I definitely knew how to make money off of it. I like entrepreneurial. This isn't my first rodeo. In college, I had 2 companies. So I had funding model. I hired my friends to work for me for their internships. So funding model was there. But this was more of we needed this, wow, and then we realized other people needed this. the moderator needs it. So it was that, and then the thing that really triggered it was deciding how much of the dual value proposition, because charging for this app would be a short run, but you need people to use this app a lot to get enough data to make it valuable to the business, and the business-to-business area is where the money comes from. So in the creation of it, the monetization was just kind of built in.
All right, well, thank you so much. And amongst other things, thank you for sharing about some of the resources we have available to us as Extension School students at the university.